The president of the Dominican Republic thinks Konanki may have been involved in an accident, and he has ordered a, quote, special search operation in the ocean. Our next guest spent years diving for the FBI and established their underwater forensic program. Bobby Chacon joins us again. Bobby, welcome back to the show. Although it's on an awful story, what would divers look for in the ocean? There are strong currents there.
That's right, Elizabeth. And normally you won't put divers in the water unless you have a finite area to search. So unless you've narrowed it down to an area where you think this person may be. And as you've seen some of these helicopter shots, the water there is crystal clear. You can actually search from the air with those drones you mentioned and with those helicopters you saw on your shot there, how crystal clear that water is. So if there's a body down there, you could probably see it. The thing you want to know is where it could have drifted to. You want to know the prevailing winds, the prevailing currents in that area, and so where that body might have drifted. Because over a number of days, that body's going to move. You're not in a lake, you're not in a river. You know, the body's going to move, and so you want to know which way it's moving, and then you want to concentrate your searches in that direction.
The waters in this area can get rough, even though it looks pristine and beautiful in this video and these pictures that we're showing you. 4 tourists were just swept away and drowned 2 months ago, right around this area. It was worth saying, though, authorities recovered their bodies soon afterwards. They have not found hers.
That's right. That's what's strange about this is that her body has not surfaced yet and drifted either to the shore, either up or down that beach somewhere. So that is unusual to go this long and not. And like you said, there's a very recent example of just several weeks ago of that happening and the bodies being located. So you know you're doing 2 parallel investigations. You're doing one on the drowning and one on the possible foul play, and both are kind of moving in the same direction. The interviews with that young man from Iowa are crucial, not only on the foul play side, but on the search side. I want to know, you know, what was she wearing? You know, where was she in the water exactly? How far out she was, and things like that, because that'll all determine if she went under a rogue wave. You know, when and where it happened is crucial. The last known spot is going to be your starting point. From where you start your search.
This 24-year-old man says that he got out of the water, that he was feeling sick, that he'd had too much to drink, and that he eventually passed out on the beach. Apparently, the woman's sarong was found on a lounge chair, but there were no signs of a struggle of any kind. What do you make of that?
Well, I mean, look, the physical evidence, you know, or lack thereof, but the physical evidence that you do see, like you said, her sarong not ripped, if it's not ripped or anything like that, and there's no overturned furniture with blood on it or anything like that, it matches his story in that they were together in the wave. They were both heavily drinking that night. And she got knocked by a wave. They both got knocked by a wave. He was able to probably hands and knees drag himself out of the water, but he was so inebriated that he could barely get to a lounge chair to fall asleep or pass out, and then he wasn't thinking about her. I mean, that's his story. I'm saying not that that's what happened, but his story does match up with what we know so far. Until we come across something else that will indicate foul play, that's what you have to go on. So they're smart to keep the dogs on the beach and extend up and down the beach, keep the drones going, keep the helicopters up. Keep the boats in the water. It's a little too soon to have divers in the water because you don't know exact spot. But you can use boat-towed sonar, which looks very far out, and you can analyze that sonar data. So there are a lot of things you can do to be looking for her in the water now, while the possible criminal investigation is going along on land, talking to the people they were with that night and that kind of stuff.
The FBI is now on the case, and I'm just curious, given all your experience, not just in the FBI, but as an FBI diver, is it possible if she drowned that we will never find her body? You know,
unfortunately, that is possible. And when you're talking about the ocean like this, you know, you have the Atlantic Ocean to the north, you have the Caribbean Sea to the south. So you have, you know, 2 huge bodies of water amassing there, and you have this kind of strait between the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. So you do have areas where that body could be, drift out to sea under the water, and quite frankly, in warmer Caribbean waters, the sea life is very active, and a human body breaks down in the seawater, and it can be consumed often by sea life.
You know,
it could be that we never find her.
Oh, it's just so heartbreaking for the Konanki family. This comes as, you know, we've got tens of thousands of American kids heading down to the Dominican Republic, the Bahamas, you know, all these places for spring break. There's a real message here. She was on spring break with some friends of hers from the University of Pittsburgh. You've got to be careful on these trips, and you've got to be careful when you've been drinking.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to sound like the old man, the grandfather of the crowd, but like nothing usually happens good after midnight, or when you're drinking heavily, especially in the water. I know how powerful the ocean can be. It's not a place to fool around. And, it's just to be careful. Don't leave your group. When you're in a group, stay in a group. If you want to, pair off, don't go in the water. And I'm talking only from the diver's perspective. Stay out of the water at night. It's a dangerous place, particularly if you're alone or just with one or two other people.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.